I told my dad, Daddy, I don't want to go. There was this kind of subtle bullying, and I'm going to be an housewife. I won't be able to do anything for myself. Before I left Nigeria for Canada, I had a lot of fears that almost discouraged me from moving here. And I will be sharing some of these fears with you today. If you're new here, my name is Ife, and I call this channel Ife's Corner. The first fear I had was not being able to work. Now, let me tell you a backstory. All the years that I've had that people moved abroad, I assumed that it was only the primary applicants that will be able to work. And because my husband happened to be the primary applicant, in my mind, I was like, I'm going to come to this country and I'm going to be an housewife. I won't be able to do anything for myself. I will just be relying on my husband's income. And because I was working in the bank, that fear of the unknown, that I'm going to leave this good paying job and come to a country where I am a dependent for the rest of my life. Now, fast forward. By June 2022, that was when our visa was approved, our PR status was approved, and we moved here in September, meaning that it was only around 3 months, or let me say 2.5 months before moving out of Nigeria, that I just realized that I could actually work. It was just one day when my husband and I were in the car, and we're just talking about the planning, packing our stuff, doing the final documentation, that I now told him that I'm actually really worried because now I have to resign and I won't be able to do anything with my life. And he was, wait, what do you mean you won't be able to do anything? I said, is that not how it works? That when you get to a new country, you can't work? He said, no, it's not like that too. That when you have permanent residency, it's the same opportunity that he has that I also have. Come and see the relief I felt in my soul. That, wow, why have I been worried all these years? I was now telling myself that, if you knew this before people started processing, maybe you would have been very serious with your prayer, because I said it took us like 3 years or thereabouts before the processing was completed, before we were able to move to Canada. After I got to know that I was going to be able to work, you would think that, okay, this fear of not being able to work is going to die down. No, I started worrying about getting here and not being qualified enough because of what you hear from people. And then we reach out to some people, they said, so some actually got jobs from back in Nigeria. I said, let me start applying to jobs. I started applying, but no one was calling me. So that fear of the unknown also messed up with my life, especially after I turned in my resignation letter. I can now remember that when I was in the bank and I opened up to some colleagues that I was going to be leaving, they now said that they know someone that is also based in Canada, and that it was a very seamless thing. And I can remember that my boss at work told me that, don't worry, if you need a reference, I'm going to make sure I give it to you. Just let me know. It really encouraged me and told me that I should just be rest assured that there was no issue. I think that was when I now felt a little relief in terms of not being able to work when I moved to Canada. The second fear I had was not fitting in. I'm sure I'm not the only one that have had lots of stories, especially of racism. We've been hearing this since we were young. My family and friends that have moved abroad would always talk about this racism, the subtle, the loud ones. And I used to be so scared. I would be like, am I going to fit in? Especially now that I was married and I had a child, that won't she be bullied in school? Because the truth is, even when I was in Nigeria, I would say I didn't really have the best experience in my secondary school years. I would say there was this kind of subtle bullying. When we got here, we realized that there are lots of black people. See, I'm not saying that this country is perfect, but it was not like I feared that I won't be able to fit in. My children will not be able to bear their native name. People will be calling you like all those curse words and all of that. It's here, there are lots of people from different parts. We have people from Africa, from Asia, people, different shades, different colors. It's so rich. So I was just only worried for nothing. Another fear I had was having to do life without my parents and my siblings. I know that I was married like 2 years before we moved abroad. But even though my family and I did not see each other every day. Sometimes we might go months without seeing, especially when I was like, that is when I had gotten married and I had a family of my own. But I could just say I'm missing home and take bus or taxi and go home. So I started having like panic attack that, are you telling me that I don't know when else I'm going to see my parents? That thing really affected me. And when I can remember that like few weeks before traveling, we went to greet the parents. And when I got to my mom and dad, I was in the bedroom and I told my dad, Daddy, I don't want to go. And my daddy said, if you haven't forgotten that you're not a married woman, your life is with your husband, eh? That don't worry, you'll be fine. He just tried to reassure me and told me that you are the same person that was not in support of your husband leaving you in Nigeria without you people going together. Now it's time for you people to go. You are saying you don't want to go again. You have to go. Technology has made it easy. It's not the easiest, but that's just one thing about moving abroad. You can see each other every time. I was also scared of the weather. See, this weather thing, no matter how I imagined it, it was not compared to my experience. Because I know that they used to say freezer is 0 degrees or so. So when I was now seeing that they said it would be -20, -30, I said, how come? It's not possible. And that's the way our mind is. Our mind sometimes is limited, especially if you've not experienced something. I was just so worried. I said, wait, we are going to be walking as if we are walking in a freezer. Because normally when you put your hand inside freezer and you pick out something and you don't wash your hand immediately, or your hand stays for too long inside the freezer, you start feeling this tingling sensation on your fingers. I was like, so is that how my whole body is going to feel this tingling sensation? In Nigeria, the only time you say, oh, we are cold, maybe during the Harmattan season, and once you put on your cardigan, you are good. And when we're not trying to buy jackets, people were saying, you're not going to, this jacket is not enough. Nigerian jacket cannot do it. Maybe you should just take this light jackets. And when you get there, you buy thicker jackets. When we now moved here during the fall and it was getting chilly, I was like, we've not even gotten to winter. Everywhere is like this. But I would say 4 winters after, I would say it keeps getting better. I'm now used to hearing, oh, it's cold, it's going to be chilly. And it even makes me wonder how I'm going to feel the first time my leg touches the Nigerian soil, especially my children that have, like my daughter was barely 2 when we moved here and my son was born here. So I'm like, how are we going to feel? Are we going to feel like this sweat just all over our body when we move to Nigeria? Now I'm scared about how hot it would be. Don't get me wrong. We all know Canada is also hot when it wants to be, but we have more cold period than hot period. So the fear of losing friendships. I'm not someone that has always been lucky with friendships. I'll be sincere. There are times when I was younger and I really wanted to have friends, but I was looking for friends in the wrong direction. That makes me value my friendships a lot. So when I had to move, I really, really was scared of losing my friendships. I was like, what if our friendship is out of sight, out of mind? Are you saying that I'm just going to start building relationship with people all over from the scratch? Like, I'm not good. Like, if you ask my friends, I think they saw me as someone worthy of being friends with. I was not really the one that went to meet them. All those friendships that I was one that reached out to people, they didn't end well. So some years in now, there are some friendships that are not as strong. Some we don't talk anymore. But the few ones that we meant a lot to each other, that we've even known each other, that this is my friend. She's my ride or die since Nigeria. We are still friends till today. We might not talk every day, but when we talk, there's nothing we can't talk about. And I've been very fortunate to meet people here as well that are good friends, that we talk about things, acquaintances, and we've built relationships that I'm very grateful to God for. And it makes me realize, why were you even scared in the first place? I was also worried about not meeting expectations and not being able to move back. I'm sure that people will be able to relate to this. You come to a country, you say bye to people, you see cases of people selling all their properties and moving abroad, and they get here and they're not getting what they want, and they're thinking of moving back, but they're worried about what people are going to say. People are going to say you're a failure. As I'm here now, if I go back to Nigeria today, it will take time for me to be able to transition back to the life in Nigeria. And that also applies to people. If I'm talking, they might not be able to relate to what I'm saying, and vice versa. So I used to be worried. What if we come here and we realize that we made a mistake? Would we be able to fit in the country where we came from? And lo and behold, also when I got here and things were not working the way we wanted it to, there was a part of me that was like, oh my God, so I have to go, that shame. But I'm so grateful to God, and I believe that even if I have to go to Nigeria in the nearest future or when I'm older, by God's grace, it's not be because I failed in this country. It will just be because I'm like, okay, I think my time here is done and I need to move back home. I also worried about parenting without support because of the chores, the house chores, childcare, and all. But I would say that it's not been easy, but because my husband and I we work together as a team to be able to take care of the children, it has made it less stressful. But if you ask me, I would say generally, I still maintain that here, if you are thinking that you want to give birth to 5 children back home and you can outsource a lot of things, you will think twice when you get here. You realize that even with the 2 children I have, I'm always on autopilot. It's like all my energy. Even this video that I'm recording, I've tried to pick up my camera several times, but I had to tell myself that, you know what, today is the day I'm just going to record this video. And finally, the last thing I was worried about was my children forgetting their roots, not knowing where they came from. And I would say, I can remember also when we were about to leave Nigeria, my daddy said, Ife, even if you people don't do anything regarding Nigeria, always speak Yoruba language to these children. Always speak it to them. Always make sure that when you are in the house, you don't speak any other language aside from it. And it's really helping. It's really helping us. I tell my children, you're from Nigeria, you're Yoruba. No matter what, it can't be as perfect as when you're back home. But I am rest assured that my children are not going to forget their roots. They're not going to forget where they came from. I will try to be reminding them from time to time. I think I'm someone that worries about the future a lot. I don't know. It's something I need to work on. Well, let me know. Am I the only one that had some of these fears? Or did you also have fears before you moved abroad? Not necessarily to Canada, to like when you were moving from your home country to another country. Were you worried? Did it make you have cold feet? Just let me know in the comments. Thank you all for the support and the love you've been showing on my previous videos. I really appreciate you so much. Thank you and God bless you. And for those that have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Try to subscribe. And also try to share my videos, because some of the things I'm sharing there might be relatable and beneficial for people you share it with. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video. Bye.